Before we begin this discussion that would make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, we need to quickly make it clear that historically, Africans have had great achievements where we achieved the highest level of civilization in the world. We had scholars and explorers, that traveled the entire world, whose works shaped the future civilizations, and their works still influencing the world till this day. We have contributed to science, medicine, mathematics, and spirituality. There are so many other contributions from Africans to the world that cannot be mentioned because the list is endless. But somehow, in today's day and age, we Africans, for the most part, find ourselves at the bottom of the barrel. Our continent has been portrayed in the negative light for the longest time, and a lot of these times, these stories are true. Our brothers and sisters outside the continent have some of the least admirable countries, and the ones that live in the developed world find themselves occupying the slums and ghettos. How did this happen? Let's take a look at some factors that led to this situation in this video. Welcome back to the African Wahala, where we have discussions that relate to the progression of Africa and Africans around the world, while breaking down topics of importance, criticizing individuals and behaviors that hold us back, and commending trailblazers. If you like the content of this work, click on the like and subscribe button. Now, some videos have been going around social media of Chinese citizens in China and their law enforcement agents kicking Africans out of their homes and preventing them from gaining access to essential services like housing, healthcare, grocery shopping, transportation, and things like that. The Chinese people claim that they are preventing the spread of COVID-19 because these foreigners might bring the virus in, which is such an irony. It came to a surprise to a lot of African people that Chinese people will treat them unfairly and discriminate against them. But to me, this comes as no surprise. I've always been very aware that the only friends that Africans can have is other Africans, because every other group of people have bought into the negative presentation of our motherland as a continent with poverty, diseases, and unending war. We even have Africans from other parts of the world that disclaim their African ancestry because they do not want to associate with failure, which the mainstream media has portrayed our motherland like, for the past, I would say, 100 years maybe. Unfortunately for us though, a lot of these media reported incidents are true due to the fact that we have not been blessed with the most reliable leaders since most of our countries gained independence from the colonial masters, right? Let's look at it this way. In the past, I would say about 500 years, we have had invaders come into the continent. They enslaved some of our people and they colonized the rest of us, right? When they were leaving the continent due to internal and external pressure, they gave absolute power to puppets that they could control with ease, who in turn allowed neo-colonialism to thrive. All these events ensured that our people never got absolute control over our land and resources, and the descendants of the enslaved in different parts of the world never gained equal respect in the new world regions that they found themselves in. Till this day, 2020, April 11th, that's what today's date is, most individuals that rule over African countries are still controlled by foreigners through neocolonialism, and that's why countries like China have been trying to capitalize on the loopholes that exist in the relationship between our African countries and the former colonial entities, who still obviously have a strong grip on us. I always thought this COVID-19 situation was a blessing in disguise for the global African family, because the effects of the lockdown has the potential of making our people stand up against the leaders that have failed in different countries. But it also helps a lot of Africans realize that the people that they thought were their friends are actually their enemies. Typical example, China. I've been in discussions with Africans who were arguing about how good the decision of their governments to mingle with China over the US for business relationships, while I'm just sitting there thinking, man, both China and the US want nothing but our resources and the downfall of our people. At the end of the day, Africans around the world have to realize that we have no friends but ourselves, and we will continue to be disrespected all over the world until the continent of Africa starts winning. It's high time Africans in the diaspora with different skills in science, technology, socialism, and many other skills that are needed. They need to find their way back to the continent and replace these frauds and deceivers that come in the form of Europeans, Asians, and Arabs. The continent also needs to create a platform to welcome the people back and give room to the people with the necessary skills that we need to come and rebuild and settle down. Ultimately, Africans worldwide will not be respected until the continent of Africa starts winning. The answer to the topic of this video is yes. Africans are the most disrespected in the world. That's all I've got for now, folks. Until next time, peace.